when in doubt, you should challenge God. And what do I mean by that? I mean, for people that are just thinking it's all a fairy tale, big man in the sky, that's a nice idea, or for people that are Christian but are having difficulty seeing the wisdom in some of the commands that he gives us, I think that I could give you scriptural references to address these doubts, but a far more direct and simple approach, and I think a biblical approach, could be, in addition to that, there's a time and place for all that. In addition to that, you just challenging God, saying, okay, if you're real, or if this is wisdom, what you're commanding me, then show me. I'll do it, but I want to see results, because how else am I going to know? And so, what are these things that he's promising us that we're like asking for? So I think Deuteronomy 28 outlines blessings for obeying him, curses for disobeying him. Leviticus 26 outlines, if you keep my commandments, here are some blessings, and also I will walk among you and I will be your God. So these are some things that we could do if we're struggling with something, if we're not being able to make ends meet for our basic needs, and we just need to reach out for some help. Then we can make a good faith challenge where we say, I want to enter into a covenant with you, a covenantal relationship, but I need to see that you're really there, or this really is what you want me to do. This really is your wisdom. And so I think if we do that in good faith, he likes to show up for that. And we see that in the story of Jacob. So Jacob is sleeping. He has the vision. He's running away from his brother Esau, who wants to kill him. He has the vision of the ladder up to heaven. And when he wakes up, he says, okay, he recognizes that this is God. And he says, okay, God, if you're the God that I want to follow, because there are other options, right? If you're the God that I want to follow, I will follow you if you give me provision, if you give me protection, and in return, I will give you a tithe. So it's a give and take. He's not asking for, give me all these shiny things and thanks. No, he's going to do an actual proper relationship with God. And so God, of course, blesses Jacob. And we see from that story that he at least allows this kind of exchange. But I think in Malachi, we actually see what I think is God somewhat enjoying this type of relationship or challenge. And so in Malachi, God says, why do you rob me? And they say, how do we rob you, these people? And he says, well, you rob me in tithes and offerings. So he's expecting them to give, and they're basically thinking, if I give you what you're asking us, how am I going to have enough for me? If I give you the best of my flock or the best of my harvest. And he's saying, I challenge you to tithe to me, and I will make your storehouses overrun. I will shower you with blessings from heaven to the point where you don't even know what to do with it. And I think God likes that because it glorifies him. He's saying, what a great God I am, what a powerful God I am that I can do this for you. And we see that with David, with Joseph, with Abraham, with Solomon. He likes to do this. I think that we see that time and time again. And then he's not afraid of our doubt. If we come to him and we say, I have a doubt that I need to, take to you, and I'm challenging you to show me like that this doubt is nothing, he's not afraid of that. We see in the story where this father with a demon-possessed son approaches Jesus or Yeshua, and he says, will you heal my son? And Jesus says, if you believe, he'll be healed. And he says, I do believe. Help me with my unbelief. Which I think is so beautiful and reassuring for all of us that he's willing to meet us where we're at. Because of course he cast the demon out of that boy. And it's so reassuring to know that he doesn't expect us to be without faith or without doubt. And I think he doesn't want that. He doesn't want people that just blindly follow him, because that's not love. Love is you wrestle with it, you weigh the options, and you still choose, in spite of what's often a challenging lifestyle, you still choose him. And that's what he really wants. And so there's another story at the end of Matthew where his apostles, they've walked with him. They've seen the miracles. They were there. And they saw him get crucified. buried in a tomb. And then he's resurrected, appears to them in the flesh, and it says, and some of them doubted. And I have no doubt that he could read their minds. And he didn't say anything about that. He had, in times past, plenty of times, berated the disciples for their lack of faith. But here, he lets it go, and he just says, go forth and make disciples. So he, again, is meeting them where they're at. He doesn't expect perfection. I'm not saying he's not frustrated, but he doesn't expect perfection. He wants a relationship that's a loving relationship. And so I think if we look at all of the biblical examples and we kind of look at our own struggles in our life, I think what he's saying is take these struggles to him. When in doubt, challenge God. And I think it's going to lead to more rich and meaningful relationships with your Heavenly Father, and it's going to be an awesome thing, because what an awesome God who's going to shower you with blessings because he wants to show you his glory. And I think it's just going to be such a cool experience for people that engage in that relationship with him. So if you like this, subscribe for more.